Encourage collaborative learning and peer reflection. 3. Use mentorship and spiritual accompaniment. 4. Link theological content to pastoral praxis. As Nwali 2021 notes, adult learners in African theology often learn best in circles, not row, where the educator becomes a guide, not a gatekeeper. Learning styles and spiritual formation. Each learner, whether child or adult, has a preferred learning style that influences how they receive and retain information. Popular models identify styles such as visual, seeing, like diagrams, slides, or auditory, hearing, lectures, discussion, kinetic, doing, drama, role play, read/write, textual, notes, assignments. In African theological settings, however, contextual learning preferences also emerge, as Chilonga and Mugambi 2024 argue. Many African students favor oral-based learning, story engagement, and collective reflection over abstract theory. Thus, the theological educator must diversify their methods, employing drama, music, parables, testimonies, and group dialogue to foster engagement. Additionally, theological education is not merely cognitive, it is deeply spiritual. The learner's spiritual formation is central to the educational journey. This formation is not confined to chapel devotions or Bible exams, it is woven into the learning process itself. Van der Voort 2022 emphasizes that spiritual formation must be an integral pedagogical goal, not a byproduct. In practical terms, this means A. Infusing prayer and reflection into class routines. B. Encouraging personal journaling and spiritual discipleship. 3. Or C. Modeling integrity, compassion, and faith in teaching. D. Offering pastoral care and mentorship to students. Educators should also discern spiritual struggles or growth opportunities in students, recognizing that intellectual resistance to doctrine may stem from emotional wounds or unresolved questions about faith and identity. Integrating pedagogy and andragogy in African theological education. The boundaries between pedagogy and andragogy are not rigid. In reality, many theological classrooms in Africa host blended age groups, especially in open enrollment programs or rural Bible schools. Effective educators must therefore navigate a hybrid approach, balancing structure with autonomy, storytelling with dialogue, and information with transformation. Mutizo and Tete 2023 recommend a spiritualized and contextualized fusion of pedagogy and andragogy that reflects the communal values of African societies and the spirit-led nature of theological formation. Educators are encouraged to 1. Assess the age, background, and readiness of learners. 2. Mix teaching styles, lecture, group work, mentorship. 3. Tailor learning goals to developmental stages. 4. Integrate biblical truth with life applications. 5. Create safe spaces for questioning, wrestling, and growing. In the words of Banda and Duval 2024, when theological teachers recognize the learner as a whole person, mind, heart, and soul, they unlock the transformative power of Christ-centered education. In conclusion, teaching with the learner in view. Effective theological education begins not with content, but with the learner. Whether child or adult, rural pastor or urban youth, each student is a bearer of God's image and a seeker of truth. Educators who understand their students' developmental stages, cultural context, learning styles, and spiritual needs are better equipped to teach not just for knowledge, but for transformation. The radical teacher in Africa must therefore be a learner of learners, ever studying those whom they teach, adapting methods, and creating learning spaces where both minds and spirits are renewed. This is not just educational professionalism, it is pastoral ministry. Are you still waiting? You need a copy of Effective Teaching, a Radical Professional Approach for Theological Educators in Africa. We move on to the next chapter, Chapter 5. Psychology in the Theological Classroom Intro.